Hey guys, Fight Kitties here. I'm Lady J.
And I'm Lexi, and it's time for Kickass and Coffee. Got a lot.
I know. Hold on to your butts.
Yeah.
It is a very busy morning.
Yeah, you might need 2 cups of coffee for this
we might need to take an intermission.
Yes. And it's extremely cold out for anybody that lives in Florida. We're freezing. Hence why I'm in a turtleneck.
Everyone's like, shut up, Florida.
It was 30 degrees. Anyways, let's get started with some Fight Buzz. So 2 former WWE stars were offered spots in the Royal Rumble. WWE is looking to load up this year's Women's Rumble with the match with like former talent. Because why wouldn't they? But it's just so annoying that we keep finding out. I want a surprise.
Well, I know. And it's like, wait. So Fightful is reporting that the Inspiration, formerly known as the Iconics, they were offered spots in the Royal Rumble. But dude, they got fired from WWE. Now they're like the Impact's knockout champs.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, hell no.
Well, they actually turned like you said, they turned the offer down. They're like, So Cassie Lee and Jessie McKay are happy with their current path. And they're like, we don't need no Royal Rumble. They just don't feel it's the right time to come back. So, yeah.
Kind of like, oh, you didn't want me then. Now you want me now? No, can't have me.
Yeah. So don't forget that Royal Rumble is including many of your favorites like Mickie James, Summer Rae, Kelly, Michelle McCool, and the Bella Twins.
Do you know Michelle McCool is The Undertaker's wife?
Really?
Oh, yeah. She's like hot.
I didn't know he was married. So we've got Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez.
Oh, they're always talking. They're always talking.
Yes.
Now they're talking about the AEW departures.
Yes, and contracts that are going to be expiring soon. Yeah. It's expected that we're going to see a lot of wrestlers leave the company.
Yeah, so we got Lio Rush, and then we have Brian Cage, Peter Avalon, the librarian, and Joey Janela. Those are 4 names that have been reported that we might not see them back in AEW.
That's crazy. I mean, there's been so many releases and like things happening, and it's only January. We're not even in February yet. So we had the Wrld on GCW this past weekend, and it was a must-see for sure.
Total must-see.
Yes, I'm a big fan of the Battle Royale, Thunder Rosa, and Lufisto.
Yeah. Like there's so much news. Okay, so they weren't the first ones in the Battle Royale, and you have to give credit to the people who've like survived the Battle Royale, like the first couple entrants, because like they were in there forever. They're fighting the longest. However, Thunder Rosa threw out Pero, and this guy's like 4 times her size.
She's so badass. I love her. We can't forget about Dark Sheik.
Some of these are new characters to me. I was like, who is this Dark Sheik? How has she survived so long?
Yeah.
And then I've been talking about Janai Kai. I'm like, I had a chance to like check her out, but dang, she was awesome. She was in there for a while too. I mean, there were so many more like men in this match that were huge, and like hey girls, you go.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't win, but they were awesome.
Yeah, I mean, they held up for considering like the mix of like sizes and people. Like it was just a lot of chaos, but a lot of fun.
So much fun. And dude, have you ever seen Dustin Thomas wrestle before?
No, I haven't.
Look, he's amazing.
Oh my god!
Like every time you think you can't do something, yeah, Dustin's like, ha, take that.
Wow.
Yeah, he has no legs, and he can get up on that top rope like faster than I probably could.
I know, he can do more than 2 of us combined, probably. So we have Jonathan Gresham, who was a no-show.
Dude, no-show?
Yeah, what the hell's that about?
I don't know. I didn't really see it. I hope it wasn't C word.
And then, so Blake Christian tells the audience that there's a better opponent for him. And then we get Lio Rush's music hitting, and we're like, oh boy. And the 2 had probably like the match of the night. You know, because it was like really intense.
There was like this crazy tombstone. Gotta watch it.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying.
It's worth the watch. And somehow Blake Christian pulled a victory.
He totally did.
Yeah.
But like the ROH championship title was supposed to be on the line.
Yes.
But because of the change of the card. We'll have to see that another day.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. And then we had Team Gringo
yes. versus Team Bandido. I love these matches because, it's like lucha style, high flyers. So we have the Gringo Loco, Flamita, and Ares versus Bandido, ASF, and the Laredo Kid.
Yes, and Gringo Loco pinned down ASF.
I know, but it's so much fun to watch this match. You just can't describe it. You have to watch these things.
I love that. How long was GCW this weekend? Or was it like 2 hours?
It was
3
a good
hours?
pay-per-view.
Oh, that's interesting.
And it was a sold-out show at the Hammerstein Ballroom. Yeah, totally rowdy crowd.
Yes, and then we had Jeff Jarrett versus Effie. And Jarrett won, and the people were not so happy about that.
Not happy. Effie's had this like beef with Jarrett, and I'm like, oh, come on.
Beef for a while now? I haven't.
They've been talking smack about, Jarrett's all about, I was the first one to have intergender matches and inclusion and blah, blah, blah. And Effie's like, no, you had this hissy fit because you didn't want to drop your title to a girl and blah, 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 blah. Okay, moving on. So, talking about girls.
Yes.
Alley Catch versus Ruby Soho.
I love Ruby.
I like that song so much.
She's a major badass. And of course, Ruby Soho won because why wouldn't she?
I mean, Alley Catch was very much looking forward to this match. And it was another great one. Okay, come on. We got to keep going.
Yes, we got Joey Janela versus Matt Cardona with Chelsea Green. And it was a hot mess of a match that you just have to see to believe it.
That's Chelsea Green. It totally was. They were surprises. There was an iron jock strap. Total.
Then we had X-Pac who made a surprise appearance
during this Cardona match.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, what the heck? He's like an icon. He's a WWE Hall of Famer in NWO and DX.
Yeah, everybody was like, look at him. He's so excited to be there. And
it was a hot mess.
What is going on?
It was pure chaos. People coming in and out of nowhere. What happened to this card? It's a hot mess and so much fun.
Then we had the Briscoes versus Nick Gage and Matt Tremont for the JCW Tag Team Championship.
That was the unknown. Who are they going to face?
Yes.
And
look at him. He got pinned down. He got pinned down.
The Briscoes. They've been on a rant lately. Still waiting to see them against FTR. But
that'll be exciting.
They were definitely at GCW.
Yes, they were.
And then this hot mess, the brass ring match.
Yeah.
I mean, look at this. Jordan Oliver, Jimmy Lloyd, Alex Colon, Leo Rush, PCO, Tony Deppen. You don't know how many times I winced. I went, oh my God, what just happened to his head? Why would you do that?
Man, these guys do not go down without a fight. I mean, they are just brutal.
They are. I'm still surprised to see PCO going because he's an older dude. He's
really? How old is he?
I'd have to. Where's my phone? He shouldn't be doing this anymore.
Wow.
Kind of age.
Ooh, that's a risk. And then we've got the Independent Wrestling Hall of Fame this weekend, which is a major big deal.
It was the first one ever.
Yeah, and we had wrestlers who were inducted, and wrestling never gets props from the public.
No, especially not the indies.
No, so this is really, really exciting. So we start off with
Ruckus, who was inducted by Sanjay Dutt. Okay, so Ruckus, he was a champ across dozens of indie promotions, and he's cornerstone of the independent wrestling scene.
Ooh. Then we had Homicide, who was inducted by Chris Dixon, and he's also been a champ everywhere for the last 29 years. He's best known for his work in LAX. He's a mentor for many megastars in wrestling, and he brings all of them up in the independent scene.
So hold on just a second. So Homicide's intro, because they did a little intro. They're and here's a little video package, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, I've seen some of his stuff, but I'm like, he's done a whole lot of painful looking matches too.
Ooh.
Ouch. How is he still doing it after 29 years?
That's a long time. You would think that your body just gives out after that. I danced for a few years and my joints are still cracky.
And then we had Dave Prezak, who is inducted by CM Punk.
Yeah.
Okay, no, this is a big deal too, because without Dave, there would be no Shimmer, no Shine women's wrestling, or the women's revolution, because they all came up from here. He was a manager, a promoter, a commentator, a road warrior with people like CM Punk, of course, and Bryan Danielson.
So that's a big deal. And then next up, we've got Jerry Lynn, who was inducted by Sean Waltman. And he's the innovator of the X Division. Lucha meets American-style wrestling in a high-flyer style that we love to see. And he is currently one of the main producers and coaches as AEW. So I think we saw an interview with... we covered an interview, I think last week on Fight Kitties, where they were saying that he is like any of like your favorite AEW matches, he's probably the face behind it. So,
I mean, can you imagine if we didn't have any high flying matches?
That's like my favorite.
I know.
There's so much intensity and like, I just love it.
And then, so we saw Lufisto in the Battle Royale. And she was dude, love the headgear. Do you love it? I love it. It has like that Maleficent vibe to it.
I love it.
She is a huge proponent in like gender equality for wrestling.
Yeah.
She's Canadian and they're like, you can't wrestle with the men. And she's like, oh yeah? She sounds like a good Scot. Where she's like, what do you mean I can't throw that telephone pole? Watch me. She became the first ever female CZW Iron Man champion.
Yep.
She pinned Kevin Steen. That's also Kevin Owens, by the way.
Yeah.
And she took the title. She's like a deathmatch queen. I mean, you saw her freaking crown. Her championships are just like over, like they just go and go and go. She totally deserves to be inducted in the Hall of Fame.
She looks pretty. Like I love her whole, like you said, the whole vibe that she's got going on. It's really cool. And so we have the entire inaugural class of 2022 right here for you guys. So the only one that we didn't mention was Tracy Smothers.
Oh my gosh, so that was like a whole ordeal. So Chris Hero came out to talk about him, and he was so funny. He was like, "We're not like you, you know." Everyone's like, "Oh, it's Chris Hero." He was, we haven't seen him for a while, and so he's like, "Summers."
Aww.
Yeah, it was like really emotional.
Really?
So like, if you love indies, you have to watch the Hall of Fame.
You sure do. And now it's time for the morning jab. We've got some crazy Twitter fights yet again. Man. Are you surprised when it comes to this and Twitter? I mean, MLW was accused of locking wrestlers for a $14,000 contracts for 3 years combined.
Okay. I'm not really good at math, but that's really below minimum.
Yeah, that's like less than $4,000 a year.
That's like slave labor.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And apparently Joey Janela claimed that there's this guy that he knows that's under a contract with the MLW, and he's under a 3-year deal, and that the total money that's been guaranteed for those entire 3 years is $14,000.
This must be more than a guy. It must be like his bestie, because I don't know who gets themselves into so much trouble over just a guy.
Yes. So on Twitter, Janela claims that the MLW like locked in wrestlers for these like low money deals, and that they're locked in for up to years so that like they can't really like negotiate or anything like that.
Dude, I remember there was something like that with like the Lucha Underground, where people were pissed they were locked into contracts and they couldn't work elsewhere, but like Lucha Underground had like gone under, so they're like, can't work for you, we can't work elsewhere. What the hell?
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, he's like, this has turned into a legal hot mess.
Yeah, and then we had Saint Laurent, who responded on Twitter by saying that Janela is just referring to old deals and that these aren't like current deals. But it's like, I don't know. He's saying that their payroll has grown and their audience has grown, so why would they only pay their wrestlers $14,000? I mean, I'm asking the same thing here.
It doesn't sound very good.
Yeah, no.
And now like Janela's been blackballed from MLW for supposedly drinking on the job and injuring people.
Yeah.
And now he's getting heat with AEW.
And they're saying he's unlikely to be re-signed. Like, this is just crazy. And then in the tweet, I believe it was Janela who said that his WWE dreams basically evaporated once Gabe got fired. And so he was just kind of throwing a temper tantrum and super upset about all of this.
On Twitter.
Yes. But this was not enough. I mean, Janela went and DM'd Saint Laurent and then said, like, you live in Orlando? Well, you better watch your back. And so rather than responding to him, of course, Saint Laurent goes on Twitter to post the screenshot of the DM.
Dirty laundry.
Yes.
Dirty laundry everywhere
Dirty
for
laundry.
everyone to see. And so he tagged Tony Khan, TBS, TNT, Dave Meltzer, Sean Ross Sapp, and Nick Hausman.
Yeah. And he was like, are you aware that one of your contracted performers is like threatening me? And he's like, am I safe? Do I need to have a security guard? It's like,
yes, get yourself some pepper spray.
Yeah, sure. Get some pepper spray, you'll live.
All right, on to some more fluffy news.
Yes.
Shotzi Blackheart.
Yes.
Also on Twitter.
All Twitter stuff today.
So she had to clarify her tweet from Friday because people were like, oh my God, you're poking fun at Meatloaf dying. What is wrong with you?
Yeah. And she ended up deleting her tweet. And it wasn't like, I can tell it was like, she didn't have any harm and there was no like malintent in it. But basically she like made a joke about like making meatloaf that same day. So in the tweet, she was apologizing after because people were just like coming for her. And she's like, I legitimately like made a meatloaf on Thursday while listening to Paradise by the Dashboard Light on repeat. And she's like so shocked.
That's a 30 song.
She was like shocked by the coincidence of like Meatloaf dying and she was making meatloaf on a Thursday. And it was just like, she posted about it to be funny on Twitter, but she like rolled back real quick and was like, ooh, I should have done that. Yeah. So she impulsively posted it. And then, when she realized how like insensitive it was, she apologized to like her friends and family because she says that she has friends and family who are close to him.
I mean, what we really should do is just have like a main karaoke session in memorial of Meatloaf.
Yes.
All coming back to me now. Okay, moving on.
We've got Britt Baker, who was asked by TMZ if she could ever consider fighting Jake or Logan Paul.
Oh my gosh, the freaking Logan brothers.
Oh, I can't get enough. There's always something about them. I actually haven't heard about them in a while, so that's okay.
So they're like, yeah, if Paul wants to taste of the DMD, tell him to come my way.
Yeah. And she's like, I'll fight you for that $1 million Charizard card.
Pokemon.
Yes, Charizard card. So I was like, oh boy.
Oh my.
Don't mess with her. She'll bring
Pokemon cards.
She'll bring her boyfriend, Adam Cole.
And then we talked about Nikki Bella's new gig as like one of the judges for the America's Got Talent Extreme. And apparently got really extreme.
Oh no. We had Jonathan Goodwin, poor guy.
So he was rehearsing a stunt where he escapes from a straitjacket and falls 70 feet down to an air mattress, all while avoiding like swinging cars on each side of him.
First of all, stunt or not, that just sounds like a recipe for disaster. Somebody should have planned accordingly for this, and something went wrong, and Goodwin was crushed by the two cars, causing them to explode, and he fell to the ground, and he missed the air mattress, and on set, everybody was like, oh my God, he died. He totally died. But he didn't. He survived.
But like they almost canceled the show because of that.
That's insane. It was like a near-death experience for this poor guy. Oh, so he is on the road to recovery.
I'm glad, but
oh, yikes.
All right. Keeping it strong style.
Yes. So this is like fluffy New Japan.
So New Japan Pro Wrestling has canceled the remainder of their events in Japan due to the COVID. Thankfully, they still have their Nemesis tour in the US.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine if people bought tickets and stuff.
Well, it's like their 50th anniversary, golden celebration. And yeah, too many of their stars have been like, yeah, it's stupid Omicron.
Omicron. Can't get enough of it. Then we have top NJPW star Tetsuya Naito, who has apparently taken a pay cut.
Dude.
Yeah. It's a really big deal.
Why is it just him?
I don't know.
Why they don't like his cat?
It was reported by Tokyo Sports that he has renewed his contract this month, but he took a 24% pay cut in that contract renewal. And he himself was basically saying that it has to do with COVID and like the lack of audience. And
why would it only be him?
That's where I'm confused. Or he's the only person who came out about it, like to talk about it.
I would imagine, that's very like, We don't talk about that. You don't talk about money. That's personal.
Yeah, it is personal. But I mean, if you're getting underpaid, especially like 24%,
yeah,
that's a quarter of your paycheck that you're getting out. So he says that he actually was kind of expecting this, but didn't expect it to be 24%.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he's like one of their big stars.
Yeah,
it's not like he's a young lion or anything.
No. He's actually been working with them since 2005.
I mean, he's a 3-time IWGP heavyweight champion, dang it.
Yeah.
And a 6-time IWGP Intercontinental Champion. He is like no small being.
So I don't know what they're thinking about that, but Naito is scheduled to go up against Kazuchika Okada for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship on February 20th during the Golden Series tour.
I mean, so maybe if he beats the Rainmaker, he'll get his money back.
Or 5% at least. Something.
Shoot.
Something is something, man. I can't imagine.
Are we missing anything?
I don't think we are. Oh,
we're not going to talk about this.
Yes.
But UFC went down this weekend.
Yes. So we have our friend Tijan, who's going to be reviewing that, giving you guys all the updates on that.
He like did MMA.
Yeah.
So he's like totally into it. Has like that insider perspective and like passionate. Gets very excited. It's like, oh my gosh, it went down. Yeah.
So be sure to stay tuned for that. And other than that, I think that's all we've got for you guys today. So, I mean, I'm surprised I didn't need another cup of coffee
or like an intermission break. We could have gone on and on about GCW, but you guys are going to tune into that one.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are amazing. Please take a moment to leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe.
And for more Fight Kitties videos, click the link below.
Yep.
Until next time, I'm Lady J.
I'm Lexi.
Bye.
Bye.